Great Debaters Contest is powered by Blaze, by Safaricom, the Youth Network.
Be prepared to be amazed. This is the Great Debaters Contest, Kakamega edition, and I am Austin Yumbok.
I am Mariam Bishar. Today we're asking, is television the most effective tool in building the minds of children? We have Mary Seat of Wisdom going versus Archbishop Njenga girls. Let's have them take the stage and wow us now. Proposal number 1, you have 3 minutes.
You can all agree with me that television in this current generation of ours cannot be avoided. We all depend on television for watching news, for seeing sports, for watching our favorite programs, and children are not an exception. Debbie Christine here from Mary Seat of Wisdom, Bulimbo Girls. I'm here to strongly support the motion that says a television is an effective tool in building the minds of children. I'll start by the definition of terms. Television is a telecommunication device that transmits moving sounds and pictures. Effective is a successful way of producing a desired result. A child is a human being between the stages of birth and puberty. Building is the process of construction. On to my first point. Preschoolers can learn the alphabet, colors, and numbers through watching television. And this is seen through the No Zone program, which is aired on Citizen TV every Saturday in the morning. A child is able to see a word that is being spelled on the screen. And this child is able to know how to spell the word before she goes to school. My point number 2, a child can get information on wildlife. As we all know, not all children can afford to go on game parks, wildlife, and see the rainforests. And as we all know, a child learns more by seeing than the child who has just been told by the teacher. And my third point, with television, children can keep a track on the latest happenings and current events. Like yesterday when I left here, when we went to school and we were open for the news, we were watching news, I was able to learn that our Cabinet Secretary for Internal Security, the retired General Joseph Nkaiseri, had passed on, and Dr. Fred Matiang'i, the Cabinet Secretary for Education, was acting in his position. So, think about it. Thank you.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes for your opening statements.
So, let's face it. A man practices the art of adventure when he heroically faces up to life, when he has the daring to open doors to new experiences, when he is unafraid of new ideas, new theories, and new philosophies, when he has the curiosity to experiment, when he breaks the chain of routine. Lovely words from Wilfred Peterson. Today, I stand here to strongly oppose the motion that states television is an effective tool in building the minds of children. First, I'll define the terms. Television. Television is an electronic device that receives television signals and displays the resulting images on a screen. Effective. Effective is a successive way of producing desired or good results. Who is a child? A child is a person who has not yet reached adulthood, whether natural, through puberty, or cultural, through initiation, or legal, through majority. To my first point, immorality. Cartoons grab children's attention so great that they could watch television for hours. The same cartoons that children are constantly watching are containing sexual and inappropriate content. A show aired on Nickelodeon in 2014, according to Science Leadership Academy at Center City, shows that a show named Breadwinners This show is a prime example of sexual and inappropriate content in cartoons. Children gravitate to this show because of the colorfulness and the use of animals that children are able to recognize. In this cartoon, it has a lot of the main characters shaking their butts and slapping each other. The opening song that introduces this show is not appropriate for children. Okay, I quote the words of the song: booty kick it, party punch it, shake your feathers, make your pants dance. That's really immoral. And you expect that for a child, really? You have to put the children into consideration. They do have rights, yes. They have that right to watch that television, but it is up to us to make sure they do watch the right things. Thank you.
We'll hear rebuttals now. Proposition, you have 3 minutes.
Euphrasia Court. I'll start by challenging the opposers. The first one, that is, you say that it brings immorality. Actually, television watching can be maintained and controlled. Television can appropriately be managed and supervised. Unsupervised can be a positive influence in a child's life, and its impact is likely to be improved through the use of a digital TV recorder, according to Dr. Tanya Byron, who is a top psychologist from the UK ESA. That is www.livestock.com. So please bring us facts. Okay, we can maintain this thing, we can control our kids. It's not a must. That is, if the parent is near, we advise that you can control your kids, and we advise you let your kids watch television. At this age, we have no otherwise. I'll go on to my first point. Television offers inspiration. It provides an exposure of a child to his or her role models in life. For instance, Janet Mbugua and Lulu Hassan have really inspired me onto being a journalist someday. Through watching television, a child's mind are expanded. For many choose their careers at an early age. Your child might choose to be a pilot someday. Your child might want and have that passion of being a doctor. Your child, and it is very inspiring to a parent to learn that your child might want to be someone bigger, something smarter. It is very encouraging to our Kenya children. On to my second point. Kids are largely influenced by the people and the things they see on television, particularly other children. If I see a child on television doing something nice, making positive decisions, it encourages me to do the same thing. This can either have a positive or a negative effect. We don't deny the fact that a kid may see something bad on television and follows it, but it is mostly positive. That is, if the parent is there to supervise. Recently, children's TV programs have started to promote some positive topics like the environment awareness and healthy living. As children see their beloved characters doing right things, they follow the same. And this encourages positive development in children. It develops their imagination. I will see a lion in television. I'll see an elephant. When I go to school, a teacher tells me this is an elephant, or can you describe a lion? What does a lion have? I'll have a clue of what to say and what to think about it. So they also motivate kids to read books. I support the motion. Television is an effective method or tool in building a child's mind. Thank you.
Archbishop Njenga, you have 3 minutes for your rebuttal.
If I'm given 8 hours a day to read under a tree, I will use or spend 6 of my good hours sharpening my axe instead of wasting my time watching a television. Atieno Nicole from Archbishop Njenga Girls. I thereby stand here to oppose the motion that states television is an effective tool in building the mind of children. First, I would like to differ with my colleague who stood here and said, if and only if the parents are there, they will control the children. Now, what when time are the parents there with their children? If most of our parents spend their time at the work, they come late hours at night when the children are asleep, and they leave very early in the morning when the children are not awake. Please tell me, when is the time that these parents are ever going to correct their children? On to my first point, there is wastage of time. Most of our children waste their time watching the television, especially on weekends. For instance, a child wakes up in the morning, goes straight to switch off the TV. He must be reminded to brush the teeth. He must be also reminded to take her meals. Now, tell me, at what time is the child ever going to go back to her books? And most of the time, these children might end up spending all their day in the television, just stuck there, no moving, no work. And besides, when is this child ever going to learn to do any work, even just to wash the plate and the cup that she or he has used after a meal? On to my second point, we have underperformance. We have most of our children spending their time watching the television. You find that a day or two passes without the child reading, and the parents are just there. Then by the end of the day, by the end of the year, you expect good results from the child. And what the child does is, especially for the day scholars, they go back at home, they watch the television. The next day, goes back to the same school, goes back to the same class. And then all they do is make stories of the episodes and whatever they watched the previous day. There is no concentration in class. And then, in addition to that, whereby television watching, it weakens the minds of children, since it prevents them from reading. All their mind will be stuck with is the stuff from whatever they are watching, whatever they see every day from the television. They have no mind to grasp the context and whatever their teachers will be teaching them in classes. My third point is the nutrition of the child is hindered. This is whereby when children watch, they prefer taking junk food. Example, we have popcorns, we have crepes, we have sausages, and in addition to that, no exercise is being done since they waste most of their time watching. And this leads to overweight, whereby these kids' health, this is an evidence by Kids Health from NAMAS. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The proposition have been asked how television affects the development of the minds of children who are deaf or blind, and the opposition have been asked to substantiate their claim that the use of the word about the use of the word booty in breadwinners. So we'll have them respond. Third proposer, you have 3 minutes.
I'm Fiona Agnes. Actually, I really love the question. You've said that, okay, let me ask you this question. How can you leave a blind person alone in the house? According to me, I know that once there's a blind person, there's always someone around who always explains to that blind person. If it is a mother, that person watches TV, the person explains to the blind person what is happening and can even interrupt for that person. And a person who is deaf, actually, when you watch news, there are always people who use gestures to explain what the news anchor is saying. So please, thank you for the question, but be keen on the questions that you're asking. So on my second speaker, you've just come here courageously and lied to us courageously, telling us that a child wastes time to watch TV, whereby that time, that child should have done something constructive like reading, or I don't know, do you want the child to help you during doing chores or something? Let me remind you that is why Fred Matiang introduced the issue of half terms. That's why when you go back at home, you need to relax yourself. My dear, too much of thing is very poisonous. And that's why we need time to go and watch and have some entertainment so that we can relax ourselves. Watching television is just part of entertainment. Or for that case then, I totally declare that no any school should be having entertainments. Is that what you want? Anyway, on to my points. I strongly and I 100% support the motion that television is an effective tool in building minds of children. I thank the inventor of television, the American man, Mr. Philo T. Farnsworth. Why? Come on, this is a digital area. And I'm sure even as we are here right now, I'm feeling very, very proud because I know that I'm being seen on television. My mom will be very, very happy to see her girl that I've come here for debate to be watched on television. And that's why even some of you are here. And that's why even some of the ladies are ready and very struggling to keep themselves very neat and beautiful. So on my first point, the studies show that scientists from University of Siena found that children experience soothing and pain-killing effect by watching cartoons. So perhaps a little entertainment can be a source of relief to them. And also, it offers social connectedness. Researchers found out television has social benefit for kids who have difficulty in connecting with others in a study published in the journal Science Daily and conducted at University of Buffalo and Miami University at Ohio. Shira Gabriel, a PhD, one of the study's author, concludes that humans can use technologies like television to provide the experience of belonging where no real belongingness has been experienced. The study cautioned that kids withdrawing from family, friends, can rely on, instead of relying on relationships, build characters, televisions. They can rely on the questions posted in TV and make physical and psychological barriers. Thank you for that.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes to respond to the audience.
Thank you very much for that, for my colleague who asked the question about beauty. Let me ask you one question. As you watch that cartoon, do you see what those animals do? They turn themselves, they look in front, they're facing you, shaking them, punch you, I punch you. Is that really fair to our children? Is that being moral to ourselves? Back to the point. I strongly oppose this motion. Television is not an effective tool in the building of minds of our children. First, if I had 8 hours to chop down a tree, I would use 6 hours sharpening my axe. I am convinced by this quote by Abraham Lincoln, the greatest American president of all times. Children who view violent acts on television are more likely to show aggressive behaviors and to fear that the world is scary and that sometimes bad things will happen to them. Fact from the kids' health from NEMA. The average American child will witness 200,000 violent acts, including 18,000 stimulated murders by the age of 18 years. Children taught to admire the good guys they see, confusing the good things and the bad things. Take in this perspective. I am Joff Koinange. This is Joff Koinange Live. And here we are having our celebrity, Jean. So, our dear celeb, how do you feel? I am so very excited. Did you get that? I am so very excited. 2 intensifiers in 1 sentence. Is that grammatically correct? No. You know what? There is a difference between written English and spoken English. Try this on papers. Believe me, boys and girls, this will not work for us. Boys and girls, I would like to encourage our opponents here to join us in this opposing of this motion. And before I forget, she mentioned about using of gestures. Will the blind see? Will they? She's focusing on the deaf. Of course, they'll get access to what the message is being portrayed, but this is not how it's done. Please do research on that, and please give us the effective information. As I conclude, all television shows are like cigarettes. You watch 1, you watch 2, you need to watch 3, and they're all addictive. This is from Dan Hammond, so think on those lines.
Final statements, proposers, you have 1 minute.
Okay. Let me also tell you that. I'll just add you that, my dear, television also helps English learners. And that when you talk of immorality, the issue of addiction, even anything can be addicted. Too much playing. I've said too much of something is very poisonous. Anyway, finally, think about it. What will be great if the alternative is just to read a book, engage in outdoor plays, or having an intelligent talk with your child as a parent? But if the alternative is simply for the child to sit around and do nothing, whine about being bored, or start a fight or a conflict, then letting your child to watch television is a better option. So even according to me, what I know, my dear, even phones can contain immorality. Anything. The issues of pornographic, when you talk about sex, that also can be found on phones. Thank you.
Opposition, you also have 1 minute.
It is indisputable that charity begins at home. But do you know the second piece to that? It is also where it ends. So today, without much ado, I'd like to thank our Honorable Dr. Fred Matiang'i. Do you know why? There is halftime for children. Yeah, it's really fun. So these children addicted to television go get stuck to television. Then when they get back to school, the teacher starts from square one. And he's letting us go for this halftime to enable us be exposed to the outside world and not watching television, because that, to me, is really irrelevant and it's not positive at all. And basing on the proposer's side, they based on the news. The news, yeah, it's really nice because it's only basing on the news. Have you thought about the other pieces after the news? Just think about it.
To both teams, television is very close to us because guess what? I think lots of homes have TV. And when you go home, most of you can't wait. And there's a lot of targeted content on TV for you, especially teenagers, especially during holidays. So you wanted to give as many examples as you could to indeed tell us. And the word here is effective, especially for the proposition. How effective is this? We're not saying that TV is not a good tool for building the minds of young children, but how effective is this? All right, that was the argument, and that's where it should have been. And for the opposition, this is probably not effective at all. Yes, it could be used, but it's not effective. Nonetheless, we ended up having the advantages and disadvantages. And there's a lot of immorality that passes through TV. There's also a lot of good content that goes through TV. So it's upon you to try and get the facts, how probably bad things went through and have really changed the mindsets of people, and how good things have gone through and have been used in that. But anyway, all the best to what you did and congratulations. Let's wait for the results.
Mary Seat of Wisdom, the judges awarded you 66%. Please give them a round of applause. Archbishop Njenga Girls, the judges awarded you 68%, making you the winners of this debate.
Now, big congratulations to the two teams on stage. We'd also like to thank you, our studio audience, and our viewers back home. Keep watching and keep the conversation going. Hashtag GDC for SDGs. I have been your host, Austin Nyambok.
I am Mariam Bishar. We'll see you next time.
The Great Debaters Contest is powered by Blaze, by Safaricom, the Youth Network.